the summertime, we thought the copper market would be kind of closed off for royalty deals. And you've seen a little bit of softness. So let's kind of open that window up for another 3 6 months. And so I think, sometimes we use that to our advantage, but over the long term, our forecasts on all these metals are, exponential growth over the next 2 decades.
All right, welcome back inside our proactive newsroom. Joining me now is Brendan Urich. He is the CEO of Electric Royalties. And Brendan, great to see you again. How are you?
Hey, Steve. Thanks for having me on. Always great to be here.
Yeah, especially when you come with news like today that you secured a revenue royalty on a copper mine called Punataque. It's located in Chile. So let's start there. Tell me a little bit about this one and what you really like about it.
Yeah, so we're really excited about this. This is something that we really planned out in the summertime, that we wanted to go get a producing royalty and specifically copper. Nice benefit. This actually is copper gold. It's a past producing mine, operated for about 10 years under Glencore. They restarted production back in May of this year. And our funding is really the final funding to get them to ramp up to full production. And they're expecting about 19 to 23 million pounds of copper a year. It's operated by Battery Mineral Resources Corp, another public company, but they are backed by Yorktown Group, which is their largest shareholder, and is a very big private equity group. So, yeah, we're very excited. This is going to immediately boost our cash flow profile. With the rest of our sources, we're hoping that we'll have a cash surplus next year. We've got 4 different royalties that, could come back into production or into production next year. And a number of different feasibility updates, expected across Mont Saucier, Seymour Lake, and many more. So, it's shaping up to be a good year. And this is really a key piece for us moving forward.
Yeah, obviously significant. It's a large sum of cash that you're putting into this to get this 0.75% gross revenue royalty. So just sort of understand everyone that the obviously back in production, and the more they increase, the better the royalty becomes, correct?
Yeah. So, and just speaking of how we're funding this, so we're actually going to be able to close on this acquisition by drawing down funds from Stephen Gleeson's facility, who's our largest shareholder. And so we actually will be able to close on this, without doing a financing. And so, this is going to be exciting. We're really excited to add this to the portfolio.
Yeah, it really is setting up for an interesting 2025 for you, Brendan. Talk to us a little bit about what you're seeing ahead. There's obviously these type of royalties that are all available all over the world. Are you looking at all different sectors? Are you sort of concentrating on certain areas going forward, or how is it going to work in 2025?
Yeah, for sure. So this is pretty cool because this is our 73rd asset we've acquired, and our 41st clean energy metal royalty we've bought since going public back in June 2020. So we're definitely going to keep active there. But you add this royalty to our portfolio. We have 29 properties optioned out to third parties. We expect income back from that. We've got advanced royalty payments coming from Bissett Creek, our Middle Tennessee zinc mine, and our Panuda tin mine royalties, both historically paying. Have the potential to come back in production next year. We've also got our past producing Graf Mata royalty, which also has a chance to come back in production next year, and our Oche lithium royalty, which is part of the now producing North American Lithium Hub, as well as updates on Mont Saucier, Seymour Lake, and Zonia. We're expecting feasibilities out, hopefully in the next 12 months or so. And so lots of different stuff, exploration going on across our entire portfolio, at no cost to us, but definitely shaping up to be the best year yet. For the company.
And lastly, Brendan, just on the markets themselves and really the price of some of these metals that you're talking about, do you see them to continue the sort of the strength we've seen this year move into next year as well? And is that a big plus, obviously, for the company?
Yeah, I think there's opportunities in everything. And so, right now in the summertime, we thought the copper market would be kind of closed off for royalty deals. And you've seen a little bit of softness. So let's kind of open that window up for another 3 6 months. And so I think, sometimes we use that to our advantage, but over the long term, our forecasts on all these metals are, exponential growth over the next 2 decades. So, we're excited to keep picking up, assets in these commodities. And I think we're definitely going to be focusing, a little bit on copper, tin and zinc as we get into the new year here.
Well, Brendan, exciting times for you and the team. Appreciate your time as well today. Thanks very much.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. Always a pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
All right, Brendan Urich, the CEO of Electric Royalties.